It's a great day to talk hockey with Grant McCagg on HabsCast.
Good afternoon, everybody. It is game day. The Habs are playing the formidable Minnesota Wild, coming off a 6-3 win in Toronto last night. They're playing the second in the back-to-back. I am joined by senior writer for HabsCast Patreon and former prolific writer for Recruits HabsCast, the one and only Bob Trask. Bob, it's finally nice to actually meet you.
Yes. Well, thanks for having me on, Grant.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, we've never actually met person to person or even like this. So nice to attach a face with all the writing. And hey, I'm glad you could find the time. You are in Calgary right now, are you?
I'm in Calgary visiting daughters and grandchildren. Yes.
Okay, yeah. And the young lads are playing tonight, so you're going to miss the majority or all of the Habs game tonight.
Yeah, the game just about exactly overlaps with the Habs game. So,
well, got priorities here. You know, the Habs will always keep playing. You know, the grandkids are only they're only grandkids once, right?
They're only grandkids once. I have to step away for a quick second, Grant. I'll be right back.
Absolutely. All right. So Bob's stepping away. We're teeing up the game tonight. The Habs are playing a Minnesota team that has beat them 10 of the last 11, folks. 10 of the last 11. They finally broke it was an 8-0 streak going into the game in Montreal last year, and they had outscored them 36-10 in those 8 straight victories over Montreal. Finally, last year, beat them 4-0, and you know, so much for the 8-game streak that Minnesota had been on, and that was in Montreal. So here's hoping that history repeats itself in that regard, and not, you know, not that they go on another 8-game slide against Minnesota. Bob, why do you think Montreal has had so much trouble with Minnesota it's not like they've been world beaters, you know? I think Montreal's won more playoff series than them in the last 5 years if you added it up.
Yeah, you know, I was trying to put my finger on that, and I don't know, Grant. I think Minnesota just plays a style of game that they were on top of the Habs, and the young guys just couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, well, it's a mystery, but let's hope it's no longer a mystery and Montreal starts spanking them. Minnesota obviously made the big trade a few weeks back, picking up Quinn Hughes, giving up Ogren, giving up Marco Rossi, giving up Zeev Buem and a first-round pick. What were your thoughts on that deal by Minnesota, Bob?
Well, from a Vancouver perspective, I think it was something they had to do. Quinn Hughes wasn't going to re-sign with them. And I think with Buemen, is that how you pronounce his name?
Buem?
Yeah. You know, I think he was the key piece for Vancouver. But Minnesota's pushing for a playoff spot, and they weren't wanting to wait for a player to develop to contribute to the team. They wanted a contribution right away. And I think Quinn Hughes fit the mold perfectly for them. He gives them that, you know, Cale Makar, Lane Hudson, Quinn Hughes kind of play driver for the offense.
Yeah. The you know, what I found a little surprising or just ironic, or whatever word you want to use, interesting anyways, the fact that, you know, the GM Bill Guerin doesn't think that you can have that you can have a 5'10", 5'10" defensemen on Olympic team playing against Finland, Sweden, Slovakia, but you can have 2 5'10" defensemen playing against Colorado, Vegas, etc. in the playoffs and be more successful. Like, he trades for a second 5'10" defenseman. And that's okay on his Minnesota team, but the Olympic team, you can't have Lane Hudson because you already have Quinn Hughes. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think they missed the boat on it, really. I mean, I was, before Lane Hudson played his first game with the Canadiens, I was a skeptic. I'll be honest. I didn't think, not having seen him play very much, I was a skeptic about whether he could contribute. But man, this guy just, the Canadiens dominate offensively when he's on the ice. And what surprises me is he doesn't lose puck battles very often. He's so quick with his stick in the corners that he comes up with the puck more often than not. So I think it's a missed opportunity for Team USA. But if it means Hudson gets a little bit of extra rest and comes back strong, it's good for the Canadiens, maybe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so he'll practice on rinks for 5 hours a day as opposed to playing two and a half. You know, he'll get no rest.
He'll get
freaking kid. He was back on a half hour before anybody else today. I posted that he's making the Habs pay for making him stay off the ice there that one day, that last Sunday, and that he slept in the bleachers at the practice rink last night. Wouldn't doubt it. He, when I look at Hudson and Demidov, it just personality or personal traits or whatever seem to be a big factor in who the Canadiens choose. Skill alone isn't going to get you drafted by the Canadiens. There has to be a personality behind it, and I think it's going to pay dividends for them in the long run. Yeah, for sure. When can we expect the next article on Patreon there from you, Bob? No pressure.
No pressure? Oh, well, probably tomorrow or...
okay.
Yeah, probably tomorrow, yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, Bob started writing for my Recruits website a few years back, and excellent writer. I highly recommend. Go on my Patreon site, and there are a couple of free articles by him that you can peruse just to get an idea of his writing style. But certainly a great addition to both Recruits and the HabsCast Patreon with his writing ability and unique ability to analyze the Canadiens in depth. I know you're, it came from just reading your posts on X. You used to post a fair bit on Twitter, and now you're. If you want to find Bob, by the way, R.W. Trask on Blue Sky. He's kind of made the migration, like a lot of us have, over to Blue Sky, but not on Twitter as much as he used to be. But I know you are a passionate Habs fan, just like everybody that's on here, and you live and breathe the Habs about 23 hours a day, don't you?
Yeah, even when I'm sleeping.
yeah, there you go. Dreaming about. Do you ever have that dream that you're playing for the Canadiens?
I think every kid's had that dream that's a Habs fan.
Yeah, and I mean, I even still have it and say, well, geez, I don't know. I might be a little too old, guys. No, we need you. We got injuries. I had that one like last year. I said, well, my knees are done, guys. And no, we could use it in the lineup. And I always seem to wake up just as I start my shift because I think it turns into a nightmare at that point. But Dovish gets a start tonight. What did you think of the decision to send Fowler back down?
I thought it was a good one. I fully expect a change in goal for the start of next season, but you've kind of got to look at it from two different perspectives. The goaltender that gives the team the best chance to win, but you also have to look at it from a roster management point of view. And you can't just afford to let Montembeault slip through your fingers for nothing, I don't think. And to me, he's the one at the greatest risk of not having a spot on the team next year.
Oh yeah,
I liked Fowler's demeanor in goal. He's the opposite of Dobish, but I like Dobish too. I mean, I like his aggressiveness.
right.
Sometimes it gets him in trouble, but Fowler needs to play and just get those minutes, and I think he'll be there next year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, playing the 3 goalie system isn't ideal by anyways, and with the back-to-backs over until after the Olympic break, it was probably the right time. Dobish over the past 2 years has played better when he's playing regularly, and when he doesn't, it seems like he struggles. So from that perspective too, I think it's better for Dobish. I thought they might send down Dobish after his comments that he made that day, but it was a good indication that, you know, Marty doesn't take things personally and knows that Dobish wears his heart on his sleeve. That was obvious from, you know, the cry that he had after the game that day and stuff, and that you know, he's going to speak from the heart. And I don't think the Canadians thought, you know, well, hey, he didn't really say anything incriminating, really, right? It was, it may have been blown a bit out of proportion as to how he reacted. That. What did you think of his comments and how the Canadians have handled it?
Well, you know, like you said, he's a guy that wears his heart on his sleeve, and I think he needed to get it off his chest, and he did. And you know, sometimes I don't think the questions are exactly fair, but I guess it's pro sports,
right? You got to put it in context, yeah.
But you know, the other thing, just going through Dobish game by game, is he's not good coming in halfway through a game. He's been a disaster in relief.
Yeah.
So you either start him, and if he's not playing well, pull him. But I don't think he's going to be your savior if your other goaltender's struggling. And then the other thing was he was the one that was always getting bumped so he would go 9 days without a start, and then 7 days without a start.
Right.
And you know, how do you stay sharp? It's I'm not trying to make excuses, but it's an observation. You know,
last year, even, like, he got off to that great start, right? And yet after his first 4 or 5 games, he was undefeated, and then he didn't played like once in 11 days, and then he struggled. And this year, same deal. He was out playing Monty. For whatever reasons, they really wanted to get Monty going, and they put him in a few times in a row. Next time Doby came in, he was struggling again. So I really think he's a goalie that needs to play fairly regularly, keep sharp. And I mean, his record, you can't argue with his win percentage so far, right? He may not always be a pretty win, but vast majority of the time he wins.
Yeah. Well, Grant Fuhr was like that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You know,
may have had a better team in front of him, but
I just I'm always looking ahead. I don't know why I always look ahead, but how does it fit? Like, do you have a 1 and a 1 and a 2, or do you have a 1A and a 1B going forward? Because it seems like both Fowler and Dobish like the heavy workload.
Right. Well, I think it's more of a 2A and a 2B, maybe, but
2A and 2B. Yeah.
Two A's.
And you know, and I shouldn't be writing Monty off either. You know,
no. Well, hey, his save percentage above expected last year was 3rd in the NHL. So and the year before it was top 5. So from that perspective, he had been good. And, I think the Canadians are saying, well, out of the 3, I think he has the best chance of being that, right? The top 5 in saves above expected. And since he came back from his hiatus there in the AHL, he has looked better on the whole, right?
Yeah. The soft ones have been, he hasn't let the soft ones in like he did before, or not as frequently anyway. Yeah.
Like even the last game he played, he didn't really, like none of the goals were really soft, right?
Right. Yeah.
So, Dach back in, playing on the top line. Wally Pipp got sick there, and he's out of the lineup. Here's hoping there's 1,000 straight games here for Dach now.
Well, I like that move. I think
getting Alex or Texier sick?
Well, giving Dach a shot.
Okay.
I think Dach, if you look through his career, he's always been more of a playmaker than a shooter, and that line's got a shooter.
Right. Yeah.
You don't.
No. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean he's a big, strong guy. He's got the reach and the strength in the corners. He's a good puck handler. I don't see why he shouldn't be a good fit with Caulfield and Suzuki. I guess we'll find out tonight. But but it sure creates a domino effect if he's successful there.
Well, there's that, and I mean, he's played with them before, and didn't look too bad. I think bringing him back in at center is asking a lot, but they already do have 4 centers. Mind you, I wouldn't mind him being. They could use that big body at center, but
they could. Yeah.
I mean, he can't do 2 things, right? Right now, they've got 2 needs. I think a big center and somebody on the first line, and he can only fill one of those roles. So,
right.
Like obviously, they're not going to sit out Evans or Deneau. So this is the move that makes sense. Yeah. But also, I'm not surprised that they put Slav, even though they ended last game with Slav on the top line. I figured he'd go back because over the past 15, with the exception of the last couple, that line been the best on the team. So keep them together.
There's some chemistry there.
Yeah, there is. And I think Kapanen struggled the last couple of games, and I don't know if he's hitting the wall maybe a little bit.
It feels like it.
He never played this kind of a schedule in his life, right? And hopefully this 3 days off type thing will recharge his batteries. But something to keep an eye on. It's almost like, by the looks of him, it would almost be better for him from a club standpoint that he wasn't going to the Olympics, because I think it looks like he could use the rest. But on the other hand, that'll be a great experience for him, and it may just he might just grow as a player, having experienced that, right?
Yeah. He's for a guy that started in the minds of many, a half a step behind Owen Beck. He's sure blossomed into a pretty nice hockey player. I don't know if he quite fills what the Canadians would like to see at second line center.
Easy now.
But he's really
well, I don't know. Do you think that they want more scoring at second line center as opposed to
more scoring? But you can't complain about his scoring. It's
his goal scoring at least, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's one of the few rookie centers in recent times that on pace for 25 plus goals. So, that's not a bad thing. But I mean, like more of the assist end of things, like Page and Zharovsky maybe they have more playmaking upside. I get that, and they're better danglers. Maybe are able to hold the puck better in the offensive zone. Well, definitely are better at that. But at the same time, a lot of teams are successful with two skilled wingers on the second line and a captain type, through the years. Like, I think you need a balance there to a certain extent, but we'll see going forward.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's a second line center forever, but he certainly is this year, and he's holding his own.
His net front presence has impressed me more than anything. It's something I didn't expect to see from him, but
okay.
Yeah, he's
oh no,
he finds the soft spots. He's battling in there. He quick shot. So yeah,
he hasn't scored any on deflections yet, but he's very good at it. And I think you will see it as time goes along here. And maybe when they start to say, hey, try to hit Cappy's stick here, because he's right there in the spot to deflect them. And he's got really good, as we saw by that baseball goal that he scored, he's got very good eye-hand coordination. He's tipped a lot, and you don't always notice it, but they've been going wide. Like, it's scoring on deflections is 80%, 90% luck, right? Because you don't know exactly where this thing's going to be tipped. You can tip it, but nobody's good enough to tip it exactly where they want it to go, right?
Right.
So if some of those start to deflect the right way and get the goalie out of position, whatever, I think you're going to see him start. Like, he's been scoring goals on his shot up to now, mostly, but I think he will score goals on deflections too as time goes along here. Dach back in. I didn't finish my thought earlier, but Dach back in, like, with ideally Slav's on the first line, but the closest thing to Slav in that first line spot without Slav would be Dach, right?
Yeah.
So I think they need that size on the first line to get pucks. Dach's going to have to compete. He's going to have to be physical and compete and play a winger role. And I hope that they get that across to him, that because when he is physical and battles and competes hard, he can be a load in the offensive zone.
Yeah. Well, the one thing I like about Dach on that line is he is a right shot, and it's a nice pass for him across ice to Caulfield. I like that aspect of it. What I didn't like from earlier in the year was Dach's pass. I don't know if he was making them too soft and they were getting intercepted, or they were low percentage, but his passes weren't connecting. And maybe it's just a matter of timing. Maybe he's been off for so long that he just needs to get the hands back a little bit. And I guess we'll see how close that is tonight.
Yeah, he was actually more of a goal scorer than he was a playmaker, which isn't his normal. He was scoring more than he was setting up plays. But I think one of the keys here, Robert, to him getting back in the lineup is that you can finally get Gallagher off of the second power play.
Yeah.
You think that's he'll be replacing Gallagher? Do you, or hope at least?
Well, I hope. You can't fault Gallagher for his effort. He gives it 100% all the time, but it's just not quite there. He doesn't have the hands, I don't think, anymore to play on the power play. It takes him too long to get his shot off. The goalies are set up. The defensemen are set up. His shot isn't particularly strong, and he hasn't got that big reach. And so there's a whole bunch of factors weighing against him there. And
and
finally,
you could replace Bolduc too on that, but that'll be, I guess, down the road when they get another player back. But you had been talking to me about, you think perhaps Bolduc might be best served going down to the AHL for a while?
Yeah, I would be really tempted, especially over this upcoming break. Get him in the AHL, get him some big minutes, get his confidence back. Yeah, I mean, the guy's got an elite shot from what I can tell.
Yeah.
And he, you look at, he skates miles, he hits, he throws the body a bit. He's got all the attributes you want, but he's not quite putting it together for some reason.
Yeah.
And maybe just a little different situation for him. He can kind of refine his game a little bit, hopefully.
Yeah, get his confidence back would be nice. He hasn't been contributing a whole hell of a lot. Here with Bob Trask, senior writer for HabsCast Patreon, and former prolific writer for the Recruits website that has morphed into HabsCast, because I am now full-time Habs Daily Podcast. We'll have to get you back on it again here, Bob. I really appreciate you taking the time today. And, when are you back home in Victoria?
I am back home in Victoria on the 26th of January, and then I'm back in Calgary for another starting on about the February the 5th or 6th, something like that. So yeah.
Well, you spend a lot of time in the winter in Calgary?
Well, this year it worked out that way. I usually try to get out here 5 or 6 times a year to see the family, and
you miss those minus 30 days, do you? Like,
I got here in Calgary the other day, and it was plus 20.
Oh, Chinook time.
Chinook time. There was no snow on the ground. There's still no snow here.
Oh boy, thought you were back home.
Yeah, well, except at home it's been raining. So
rain. That's right. No, I'm not. It's kind of like November here all year. Like in Victoria in the winter, Vancouver or whatever. It's kind of like November weather here, and I hate November weather. But anyway, to each his own. At least, it's not minus 20 too often.
It's not minus 20.
Victoria,
no.
Right? No. Okay, Robert, I'll let you go here.
Thanks for the opportunity, Grant, and we'll keep in touch. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. We'll get you back on. Where I was going with that is maybe, get you on for a post game, especially when they play out west, and
everybody else is asleep, and
everybody else is sleeping, and you can come on at prime time.
There you go,
Victoria. Sound like a plan?
Sounds like a plan.
Okay, thanks, Robert, and have enjoy the. I hope that the young lad gets another Gordie Howe hat trick tonight. You were talking about.
Yeah, he's got fire in his belly. That one.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Bob.
Yeah. Thanks, Grant.
Robert Trask, folks. First time on here. I just cut him off. I got to get used to letting people. I got to tell them there when I say goodbye, they just leave. But anyway, I didn't mean to cut him off. Thank you, Bob. That was great. So Dobie gets the start tonight. It should be fun. I think now's an opportunity. Logs End, folks. www.logsend.com. Reclaimed wide plank flooring. Divers take logs from the bottom of the Ottawa River and turn them into wide plank flooring. It is beautiful stuff, folks. If you are looking or you are in the market to get some flooring done, I highly recommend that you contact Logs End, West Quebec company, small town. Hey, this guy right here, 10-time Montreal Canadiens Stanley Cup winner Yvan Cornway, got his flooring done at Logs End. If it's good enough for Yvan, folks, it's good enough for you. Well, somebody saying here, I wonder if the Winnipeg would be willing to trade Morgan Barron. Yeah. Get back Justin too and laughing, eh, guys? I don't know. We'll see. Hey, let's get to the main subject that we talked about. That I wanted to talk about, and that's Alexander Zharovsky, right? Bob Hartley, former NHL coach, former KHL coach, has commented on Zharovsky saying that he is a clone of Ivan Demidov. Let me know what you think of those comments. Obviously, it stirred up a lot of excitement in Montreal. Now, if you take the term literally clone, he's saying that he's basically identical, and obviously, they're not identical. I mean, are they similar? There are some similarities, okay? Both Russian, both very, very good stick handlers, both see the ice well, good playmakers, protect the puck well, both have decent shots, both have, put up set records basically at their age level in the KHL. Both didn't have huge ice time, put up really good stats, among the best in the entire league in their rookie seasons in the KHL. So I get it. There are some similarities there. But as far as the clone part of it, well, Demi's 6 foot, 6 foot and a change, 6 foot and a half inch. Zharovsky's 6'2". Demi's pretty compact. He plays low, wide skating stance. Zharovsky, 6'2", slender, willowy, needs to put on some weight. So different physically, the two of them. Demidov's a better skater, a lot more explosive, a lot more powerful. Zharovsky's smooth, doesn't have the knees, like the crazy knees that the east-west ability with his skating that Demidov has. They're both elite stick handlers. That's similar, but Demidov's a better edges, better skater, quicker. Demidov is very competitive, already pretty strong defensively because his motor is pretty much nonstop, very high end competitive nature, and pretty damn solid defensively already. Zharovsky, he's not there. He'll never be as competitive as Demidov. It's just, if by this age you pretty well have that determined. He can get better competitive wise, but he's never going to have that same fire that Demidov has, and be have his motor running at all times. So there's differences there. Demidov has been a superstar since he was 14 years of age. Like, he played in the Helenka, the only Russian ever at 15 years of age. He's always been above his competition and had to play against older players all the way up. Zharovsky 2 years ago wasn't even playing in Russian junior. He played tier 2 Russian junior, NMHL. Demidov at the same age was already a dominant player in Russian junior, dominated at U18 events, dominated, just dominant since he was 14, 15. Zharovsky, late bloomer, it's fair to say. It's been the last basically 13 months that it's just, you've seen, the improvement curve go like that. So though there are quite a few differences in the two, but so clone is certainly from a literal standpoint, it's not, it's the incorrect word to use, but can Zharovsky come into the NHL and be an offensive contributor? Yes. Will he be a 40-point scorer like Demidov in his first 50 games? We'll see. It might be a couple of years from now. It certainly won't be as a 19, 20-year-old. There are some people that think, yeah, well, buy him out of his contract, bring him over next year. But there's not a spot for him. He's not ready physically to play at the NHL level. Yes, you look at the stats here, right? Now, this is including today's game, where he got 2 more assists, by the way. He is now 1 point shy of Eli Tolvanen's KHL record at 18 years of age. This is in their when they're 18, during the season, for the majority of the season, 18 years of age. He's 1 point behind Tolvanen. Obviously, he's got 20 games left in the season, so he's going to shatter that mark. He's on pace for 20 goals and 53 points, which, again, will shatter the mark for players at that age. So that's impressive, but we do have to keep in mind that he's playing in a lesser conference. The conference that Salavat Ufa plays in is quite a bit weaker than the one that Demidov competed in last year. So he might be putting up similar or even better numbers than Demidov as a KHL rookie. He's playing a little more, and he's playing in a significantly weaker division. So don't expect him to, come in and duplicate what we've seen from Ivan Demidov. Demidov is still, if you want to, he's still a level above what Zharovsky is at this point. But nevertheless, Zharovsky's a very promising young prospect. I think if you did a redraft, a lot of people, myself included, right now would consider him top 10 in a redraft of this past draft, which, considering he got picked in the second round, it is pretty impressive. Now, I managed to get 4 highlights from today's game here. Let's get it back to the start. Okay, Zharovsky gets the puck here, gets it over. There's another point, another assist for him on the power play. That's another thing, too. A lot of his points coming on the power play. That wasn't necessarily the case with Demidov last year. Demidov got a pile of points against really good teams. Look at the deke there. Bring that back again. Like this, not to say he's not shifty on his skates, because check out this. He uses that length really nicely. Nice dish over. Could have gotten an assist on that one. Here's another good. And again, most of his main plays are on the power play at this point. Got a good shot in. There's another assist for him. At the end of the game, it was 5-1, so, playing with empty net. So basically another man advantage situation. Like 5-on-5 against a good KHL team. He's not close to where Demidov was last year at this point, but nevertheless, what he's accomplishing is pretty impressive. And he was playing against Avangard, right, which is a really good team that's in the main conference, and he got He managed to pick up 2 more assists. He's able to deke good KHL players on any team as an 18-year-old KHL rookie. So that tells me that eventually at the NHL level, he's going to be able to do that as well. He's just got such soft hands, long reach, great stick handler, and that'll be nice to see in the NHL someday. He's definitely got a NHL potential. I think he'll be a top 9 forward. He's back on the wing for the most part now. Since they picked up Kuznetsov, who was ironically a teammate of clone Demidov last year, they've got him playing predominantly or full-time on the wing now. And that's likely where he ends up in the NHL is on the wing. Whether it's in the top 6 or the top 9 remains to be seen. I think it's probably a few years away from him being ready to play, because Montreal has a good, they've got a good group there, right? He's not about to supplant. He's not about to supplant Caulfield, Slav, or Demidov. So basically, it'll come down to, does Hage play on the wing? If so, he may never supplant Hage, but also Dach, right? We'll see what Dach does here in his role on the first line tonight, at least. And I think it's not just, he's replacing Texier. They ideally want Dach in that spot on the first line. It just makes sense, right? You want a big guy on every line, ideally, and Dach would be the big guy on that line. Hey, we just got a new member, Lower Canada guy. Hey, Lower Canada guy, thank you very much. I haven't seen any posts from you, and first thing you do is become a member. That's getting in my good books, my friend. Please feel free to post on here. That was Bob's first visit on here, and it was nice to have him on. Bob's a really good guy, and hey, it'll take a few, just like anybody, right? Your first time on a podcast, you're a little nervous, and he'll I'm sure as the nerves will be calmed as he gets more used to doing it, right? But definitely plan on having. I really appreciate Bob's perspective and outlook on hockey. He's a smart hockey man. Won't hurt my feelings if he is the next Demidov, though. No, imagine, eh? Minnesota's going to be tough, Grant. They manhandled Toronto last night. Yeah, they did, didn't they? Yep. 5-2, then they scored one late. Matthews, of course, with his late goals when they don't really mean anything. Typical Matthews goal. And, yeah, they did. But they're playing the second game on a back-to-back, right? In Canada on a tough road trip. So hopefully the legs, Montreal's actually going to be rested for a change. 2 days off, folks, or 3. It's not, 2 and then play today. So it's been, it hasn't been very often in the past few weeks that they've gotten a couple of days rest. Excuse me a sec. All right. Let's get to some more comments here. Let me know if you hear any other changes in the lineup or news. Once I go on the podcast, I tend not to well, I'm busy, right? Can't be checking out social media. So, as always, you good folks are great for updating me on any happenings that go on during the podcast. Alex McLean, good afternoon, guys. Well, good afternoon, Alex. Glad you could join us. For a whole 20. For Aho 20. He's the third highest puck battles win in the league, I think. I guess you're talking about Lane. Is that who you're talking about? Oh, Samurai Knight. Habs come out with a strong game tonight. I hope so, Sammy. Fingers crossed. Again, if you missed it, last 11 games, not a pretty sight, folks. Lost 2-1, 2-1, 4-1, 4-2, 7-1, 6-3, 3-0, 7-1, 1-0, before last year finally breaking the friggin' streak in Montreal by winning 4-0. But then Minnesota came back again, back home, 1-4-3. So here's hoping that it's more similar to what we saw Minnesota's trip to Montreal last year than the 10 other times they've met in the last 4 years. It's absolutely ridiculous that a Minnesota team that, like, I don't even know if they've won a playoff series, maybe one in the past decade or something like that. How do you lose 10 of 11 to Minnesota? But anyway, they did. And here's hoping that I think that the talent level on both is pretty equal. They just got to outplay them, right? Moon Observer Gilles. Imagine when Zharovsky is in Montreal. Hartley in Russia says Zharovsky is a Demidov clone. Yes, which doesn't mean that he is, but that's Bob's opinion. I've got a slightly different one, but there are, he's a Russian with good hands, good playmaker, so there are some similarities. I'm going to cringe every time Kirby gets hit for a while till he gets settled back in. Man, he needs a break. Yeah, well, I don't know. He hurt his ankle or foot or whatever. I don't think it wasn't from a hit, was it? Entering next year, Monty and Dovish each have 1 year left, depending on how training camp goes. I see Monty, Kepper experience to Fowler, Dovish starting in Laval. He doesn't have to clear waivers. I think next year Dovish would have to clear waivers. Perhaps I'm wrong on that, but I don't think so, because he'll have had 3 years of pro experience. Pretty sure he would have to clear waivers next year. Maybe somebody else can clarify that. Happy with the Dach opportunity on the first line, but I preach patience since he might need a few games before finding his rhythm. Yeah, well, I hope they don't, if it's not instant karma, that they don't just say, well, we got to get Texier back up there, but we'll see. Regarding Dach, I believe he won't be cautious out there like he has with knee struggles. Well, it's been a while, right? Since the knee injury, and he was taking hits, and I agree. He has full confidence in his knee from his performance before he went down, not the same as his ankle. Exactly. That's how I'm looking at it, too. I, for one, am a fan that he starts on the top line. Let it roll. Yep. Well, plus it's on the wing, right? Like, honestly, it was worse last year starting him with Line and friggin' Newhook, or Line and Slav as a second line center, because you him having to check top two centers after missing like the majority of a year and a half, like that was a big order, and they kept him there, kept him there, kept him there. Huge difference being on the wing and being insulated by one of the best two-way centers in the league in Nick Suzuki, but also, Caulfield's a good winger too, because he's got the puck a lot of the time, and he's better defensively than what a lot of people give him credit for. So, no, I don't think starting him on the top line is a bad thing. On the wing, Suzuki backing him up, I've got no issues with it. I like the idea of Dach as a wing since he becomes a backup center in case of injury. That's true too, rather than have to rely on not as high quality backups such as Veleno. Yeah, I agree with that. What type of player would complement Zharovsky well in the NHL? That's a good question. I think you want to put him with a reliable two-way center, maybe one with size. I could see him being and then this guy's asking, where do I see him fitting in the lineup? Probably third line winger, power play specialist. Certainly for the first year or three, and if he keeps progressing, maybe he becomes a top six winger on the team. And that's not knocking him. That's just a nod to just how strong the Canadians are going to be over the next few years. Because again, do I see him being better than Caulfield, Slav, or Demidov? No, certainly not for the next 5 years. Maybe after that, maybe Caulfield, maybe he surpasses Caulfield as time goes along, but will he ever be better than Demidov and Slav? I don't think so. Because I think both those guys are going to be stars. Now, it depends, somewhat dependent on Kapanen and Hage. If Kapanen eventually gets knocked down to, let's say Hage replaces him as a second-line center, then there'll be a potential spot in a year or two for Zharovsky on the second line. But at this point, at least, there's going to have to be a lot of I'm leery about having a second line of Demidov, Hage, and Zharovsky from a defensive standpoint. Now, that not to say that if Hage and Zharovsky improve a lot defensively over the next two or 3 years, that eventually that's the second line and Slav's back up on the top line, or perhaps even maybe to protect those guys a bit, you have someone like maybe Zharovsky on the top line and Slav, Demidov, Hage as your second line. So, it will depend on whether Hage eventually beats out Cappy as a second line center, or if he stays on the wing. If he stays on the wing, for now at least, I see him ahead. He's ahead of Zharovsky in his development. So he would be ahead of Zharovsky in the lineup. But who's to say 3 years from now that Hage will be better than Zharovsky? I can't guarantee that. I have a hard time believing that if Zharovsky had been at the World Junior Tournament that he would have had a better tournament than Hage, but we don't know. He wasn't there, right? So good question. Time will tell. I'm certainly not going to be emphatic about predicting future lineups because there always ends up being surprises. Zharovsky seems to also shoot more than Demi. Maybe a little bit, but he's not like 13 goals, 22 assists. That's similar, kind of a similar total to what Demi had last year in the ratio, maybe a little more towards the goals, but he may shoot more, but I don't know that he has a better shot. I don't think he has a better shot than Demi. But yeah, that's possible. Let him honor the contract in Russia. He'll develop even more next year. He might really shine next year. Lesser conference, yes, but playing against men. Well, yeah, we know that, Pierre. Lesser men. So it has to be brought up. Like, what if he was playing in the Croatian men's league? Would his stats be really, really important because he's playing against men nevertheless? I'm glad to hear from Demidov that he found Zharovsky to be good in the locker room. Really smart of Kent to call him for his opinion. Yeah, I'm not sure how much he'd know about him being good in the locker room, considering that they didn't play together, but I could imagine him with Suzuki in the future because they both have a balance of passing, shooting, and they like installing themselves in the offensive zone. I could imagine. Yeah, you're talking about Z. Yeah, it's possible. He might someday be a winger with Suzuki. It's, that's one of the possibilities. But again, who's the puck? Who's the guy that gets the pucks on that line then? I really hope that Dach, as a former top 3 pick, reaches his potential as a winger on the top line. Because if that is the case, it would be such a bonus for the club in so many ways. Like, we have to be careful here. The Canadians are not going to go with a lot. Like, I really can't see 2 years from now having Zharovsky, Demidov, Slav, all in your top 6. Like, that's 4 forwards under the age of 24 in a couple of years. I just can't imagine it. It's just not a team that wants to win a Stanley Cup. There's just not enough experience there, not enough man strength yet. It's we'll have to be patient with both Hage and Zharovsky, and not, especially if they pick up a veteran or two here, and don't be surprised if they do. Then it might be 3 years before Zharovsky's even thinking about playing a top 6 role. It'll be more likely, like a lot of young players through the years, they kind of start out bottom 6, power and on the power play, get accustomed, get used to it, play some even in the AHL if need be, and wait their turn, right? Wait till they're ready, both mentally and physically, to play at such a high level, right? Do I agree with Snake that Zharovsky's a better prospect than Hage? Well, I'm not like Snake where I make these bold predictions. I don't. Who knows? Right now, I think Hage is ahead of him, but I can't predict the future 3 years from now. They're both very good prospects, but Hage is ahead of Zharovsky right now. And you can't look at a guy playing Russian hockey compared to a guy playing college hockey and make it a definitive prediction one way or the other. I'll let you know when they're both playing pro hockey for a while. Then I'll make that type of prediction. But a better prospect. What exactly does that mean? Like, I don't know. I think Hage has a better chance of being a center than Zharovsky. So if Zharovsky ends up being a better prospect, he better be quite a bit better, because centers, as you know, bring more value to a team than wingers. Grant, did Demidov play with better players than Zharovsky? Hockey Ninja reposted this stream. Yep. He will not be protected in the expansion draft. Oh boy. A little early to be asking that question there. Thanks for becoming a new member, but you kind of put me on the spot there. Yeah. Dobie's in nets tonight. Should be interesting. Let's hope so. Lane and Cole are going to show Bill Guerin why he should be ridiculed for his U.S. national selection team tonight. Oh, I hadn't thought of that angle. That's true, eh? He'll definitely be inspired. That's for sure. Panther, the style of play of Jacques Lemaire is still with the Wild. Yeah, they do kind of play, although they're a little more offensive team than under Jacques. Kaprizov wouldn't have had the freedom that he's got now, I don't think. Couldn't score against Mini in the past. Well, as I said, there's more talent on Montreal than what they had in the past. Eric Engels streaming. Well, why? Eric Engels can dream, and you, Eric, can dream all you want about getting a player that makes no sense for the other team to give up. Why would the Rangers, who are clearly in a rebuild, trade their best young player? Can you give me even a modicum of rationale onto why they do that? Yeah, I'd love to have Will Cooley too, but it's not PlayStation. It's unfortunate. You're worried about anything breaking on Dach. Well, Frank, we're going to worry words, eh? Drum dude. Why worry? Que sera, sera. Whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. Que sera, sera. Yes, on Dobie waiver. Waiver goodbye. Bye, Dobie. Dach is a goner. Okay. Geez, we're getting some. So, Dobie waivers. Dach goner. We have the we've got the Infatos out here. He brings size, but too many injuries. Yep. He does. Kevin puts it well. Don't worry, be happy. Hey, you can't worry about those things, right? Give me an example of a guy that gets injured every year for a decade in the NHL. They don't. Law of averages says he's gonna be fine here for a while. Has he had too many injuries up to now? Yes. Which tells me that he's not now for a while. Maybe he keeps being unlucky, but again, odds are that that's not going to be the case. We'll see. As a scout, did you have a mentor? Well, nobody learns on his own, I don't think, Francois, especially in the scouting business. I had several mentors. I had Brian Murray. I was fortunate enough to be his cousin, and Brian would show up at the tavern and pub in Shawville and have a few quarts on occasion, usually with his nephews, Tim Murray and Todd Hardy, who both scouted for him in the NHL. Todd still scouts, and Tim, I guess, is retired now, but did become the GM of Buffalo for a spell. All three of those guys, I picked their brains all the time because I've been a draftnik since I was knee high to a grasshopper. So I picked their brains for years. At the same time, I had gotten to know Trevor Timmins, and again, picked his brain for years. Had thousands of email and text exchanges with Trevor through the years, asking him questions, talking about players, getting to know what he likes in the players, getting to know what Todd and Tim and Brian liked in players, listening to Brian Murray because he was one of the smartest hockey men that ever on this planet, and I was very fortunate to get to listen to him over a few courts in Shawville many times before he passed away. And while I didn't remember everything he said, a lot of it soaked in. Those guys could drink, and that included Brian. Like a dozen quarts were nothing on a sitting. Go from about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 7 o'clock till 2 in the morning. Having it, anyway, and not get drunk. The man could hold his beer. Oh, those old timers, bygone era from the 60s. Hi, Grant. Regarding Dobish waiver exempt status, checking into it. Looks like his final year will include his final of waiver exempt. How can that be? So he's waiver exempt for 4 years? Wow. That surprises me. I didn't. As a rule, you don't get. He's been a pro how many years now? Must be some kind of exception there if that's the case. Be 25 and 1, 2, 3. Okay, I don't quite get it, but if he's waiver exempt next year, then that's not good news for him. His exemption is expected to last through 26-27. I can never understand these. Some people, it's friggin' 2 years, 3 years. Apparently, he can go 4 years, be waiver eligible, even at 20 and at 25 years of age. Huh. Thank you, Francois. First donation of the day. I notice that people are a little more generous at night. So any contributions at all during the day, very, very appreciated. Thank you. Thank you, Francois, for the toonie. How can I become a scout? I don't know. I paid a lot of dues. You know, a lot of people think it's, I mean, I was 40 before I felt comfortable getting into it. And there's no tried and true answer to how you become a scout. Post your comments on social media these days. Go to the rink. Go to as many junior, college, what have you, hockey games as you can. If you get a chance, talk to scouts, mingle with them, pick their brains, but work at it. Make a draft list if you can. Put it on social media. Good luck. Usually you need to know somebody to get to be a scout. I agree with adding Danault. I really don't think we need Evans, especially with Beck waiting for his chance. Do you think he has much trade value? I don't know. He has a lot of trade value, but he has trade value. Might fetch you a second or third round pick, something like that. Get the one back that you got for Danault. His contract's reasonable, so that gives him more value. He's a good penalty killer. Yeah, I don't think that Danault and Evans both. It's redundant, I think. I would like. It's not because Beck can replace him. I think he needs to be replaced by a bigger center right now if the Canadians want to try to do something in the playoffs, and I think they do. Ideally, that they'd like this young core to get more than 5 games of playoff experience like last year. Ideally, they want to go at least a round, and I don't think that's going to happen with the current 4 centers that they have. I believe they need one with some size and physicality, especially in the bottom 6, and that's not Evans. So, yeah, you know, there is the argument that you you sign him to a contract, and what do you do and trade him 8 months later? Well, it's a business. I mean, hey, he's getting paid that contract. He's getting paid $2.85 million regardless where he is. So it's not like he's lived up to the like he played a lot better before he got the contract than after. Since he's got it, in my opinion, he was a lot better last year than what we've seen this year so far. So, hey, it's a business. The Canadians think they can upgrade. They're going to do it, I hope. What's up, Dach? What's up, Dach? Let's go. I think he's going to be good, folks. Let's just give him some time. Yeah, I like the positivity as opposed to the, what if he gets hurt again? He's fragile. Come on, folks. Don't worry about it. Go with the flow. He gets hurt, he gets hurt. Grant, I still don't believe and cannot comprehend that contract Wild gave Kirill. Yeah, well, yet another Bill Guavin special, right? Talented, sure, but he's never even played a full season. He'll be 29. Yeah. And how many playoff series? You give somebody the greatest contract in NHL history, a Russian winger who is what? 5'10". He's okay defensively, but I mean, I wouldn't say he's the cat's meow. Never won a playoff series. Never taken his team to the second round of the NHL playoffs. And you're giving him the biggest contract in NHL history by far. It's going to hamstring him in the future. I just know it. I don't like it. I think it was, there was no negotiating on. Do you think Kent Hughes would ever sign a contract like that? Are you crazy? Hi, everybody. It's Bob Hartley. Hey, Bob Hartley. You sound like Dr. Nick. Oh, who compared Zharovsky to Demidov, but you probably talked about it earlier. Yes. That's why it was the headline. He's not a clone. It was because of Bob Hartley's comments. Simon, thank you for joining us, my friend. Hugo will trade a package deal for a player. I hope so. Evan's contract is perfect to be dealt. That's right. Oh, we finally hit the 100. We hit the 100 mark here, folks. 747 total. We're just jetting along here. 105. We've got 105 on HabsCast. The young lad's here today. He's itching to use the computer, so it's not going to be a 2 or 3 hour marathon today. And we're not getting much in the way of contributions, so I hope you can understand that I can't be going like 3 hours this after. So get your questions in now. I'll answer them. Try to wrap this up in the next 20 minutes here. With some trades picking up, looks like there will be some activity before the Olympic trade. Yeah, it seems like. Usually it's a kind of a copycat league, right? Oh, deals are being made. Let's get these deals out of the way. I think it's almost like 2 trade deadlines, really, right? With the roster freeze or whatever before the Olympics, the trade freeze. It's kind of like 2 deadlines. So yeah, I think there'll be a few more deals before the February 5th. Will the Canadians be one of them? We'll see. Minnesota will probably have to overpay to keep their players. Yes. Any opinion on the Anderson and Sherwood trades? Sure. I thought that both Calgary and Vancouver fared okay with that deal, with those deals. What are your thoughts, folks? I mean, White Cloud was leading all Vegas defensemen in ice time. So it's not like they were trading, their 5th most used D-man. He's pretty solid. He's a pretty solid defender. Anderson's a step up from a offensive standpoint. He was minus 38 last year, but seems to have gotten it back together in that regard this year. He struggled at times last year, but he didn't look like he was going to be re-signing, right? He'll turn 30 coming up here. Vegas is always, they'll friggin' re-sign him, I'm sure. But man, the friggin' Knights do it differently than anyone else, eh? Like, build through the draft is like a dirty phrase to the Vegas Knights. What do they have? One first-round pick left in the system, and again they've traded yet their future one, and it might end up being two. I don't know Abram Weeb too much, but if the Knights win the cup, then it's another first, but it's probably going to be a second. But still, first, a second, and your leading player as far as ice time on defense is a pretty stiff price to pay. So I like the trade. I like the trade from the Calgary standpoint, where they weren't, a UFA to B to get that kind of return. Good for them. As for Vancouver, I think they may have left that a little late, right? They were wanting to get a first for Sherwood, but perhaps that nobody was ever on board with surrendering a first for Sherwood. I certainly wouldn't. I'd been asked about it before with the Canadians, and I would not have traded a first-round pick for Kiefer Sherwood, because I think he's having a career year at 30 years of age. That can be a bit of a warning sign. He'd also slowed down considerably in his production of late, and I think that's closer to what you're going to get than not get in the future from him. Cole Clayton, he's just he's a minor league defenseman, kind of a throw-in. But 2 second-round picks, I don't mind that deal for Vancouver. They've got to reload here. As far as San Jose, hey, Celebrini's got them in a playoff hunt, right? They needed that type of player. Why not fortify things a bit? Oh, not to keep you going, just a bit of support. Thank you for what you do. Okay. Yeah. No, I know I complain a little bit about how long I stay on here, but you know what? I freaking enjoy it. I enjoy doing it anyway, right? Yeah. Oh, VDAC telling me what to do again. Thanks, VDAC. I don't care what Matthews signs for. He's going to sign for too much again, too. Doesn't mean it's going to be right. Do you think Celebrini have a case for the Hart? The Sharks going to make the playoffs? Yep, definitely. Even if they don't make the playoffs, I think he has a shot at the Hart. Who's more valuable to his team than that guy? Incredible young player. How motivated do you think Hudson and Caulfield are to play Guerin tonight? Yeah. Also, I think the team in general, with the record against them in recent years, they're going to be I hope they're champing at the bit, whichever way you like to say it. Any way you slice it, Kaprizov got way more money than he should have. You can friggin' say, oh, the cap's going up. You can say this, that. I don't care what you say. He got overpaid. And to say anything different is ridiculous because the cap's going up. So you give him the biggest contract by far ever, a 5'10 Russian that's never won a playoff series in his life. Pass. Thank you. I thought Bolduc was a hitter. I haven't seen any of that so far. Yeah, really. Well, he hits. Zach's one of the main hitters up front on the Canadiens. I wouldn't agree with that he doesn't hit. He's not. I don't consider him to be great, highly physical. He's not going to, doesn't look like he's ever going to fight, right? But he does contribute with hitting, I wouldn't say that he's non-physical. Kaprizov's on pace for about 90 points. 90.510 winger on a team that's never won a playoff series, and I bet you they never do. Oh, let's give him $17 million a year. Ridiculous. I wonder what's happening with Fantilli. I don't know. Again, young player. What's happening is that people are being impatient with him. He's not going anywhere. How do I play like Demidov? How do I play like Demidov? You're never going to play like Demidov. I hate to break it to you. Stylitic, but it ain't going to happen. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news. Bolduc plays with new partners every 4 or 5 games. Yeah. He has been moved around a lot. If he started to play well, it's kind of a, chicken and egg thing, right? Like, yeah, it's not. Is it his fault that he's playing with new players all the time? Well, is it the coach's fault? Well, if he start playing well, he'll keep playing with the same players for a while. But he doesn't seem to have been able to find chemistry with anybody. As soon as he starts finding chemistry with line mates, then he'll play with those line mates for a while. But till he does, right? I mean, he was given the opportunity on the top line. He didn't come close to seizing it. Did you expect him to stay on the top line? I didn't. He hasn't. Name a player that Bolduc has found chemistry with so far. I can't think of too many. If he ever does, then he'll likely play with those players. But till he does, you're probably going to be seeing him. And also, don't forget, there's been a lot of injuries, right? Players in and out of the lineup. So, I mean, even Caulfield and Suzuki have had new partners every 4 or 5 games in the last while. But especially in the bottom 6, there's been no players that have played regularly with others over the, I don't think you can name any 2 players that have played together 4 or 5 games in the past month because it's just been a, you know what I mean? It's been a carousel in and out. But yeah, it's tough when you don't ever have regular line mates. But, you know, when you're not playing well, don't expect to be given that luxury, I don't think. Right? Will Hugo sign Demidov at $10.5 million this summer? Oh, geez, that's a pretty specific number there, Panther. I think it might be 10.25 or 10.75, maybe 10, maybe 9.5. It's funny, when I talk to Eric Macramella, who I really respect, he doesn't seem to think that, you know, that Demi will get more than what Hudson got. But with the caps going up, as VDAC told me, you got to expect salaries to go up, right? Was Carey Price and Martin Brodeur's puck control always good even in juniors? Well, I can't say that I scouted Marty Brodeur extensively in junior. Back then, we didn't have access to the way we do these days to junior games, right? So search me but I would suspect that Marty Brodeur has always been sorry, I just need to young lad's got some screwdrivers sticking out. I suspect that Marty Brodeur has always been good. He's good at the NHL level. I suspect he was a good stick handler in junior as well. And again, Patty Waugh, don't think I ever saw him play in junior, so I can't answer that question fairly. I've seen others starting to suggest McCarron. Yeah, funny how that works. Reminds me of a certain draft not too long ago. Oh, well. Sometimes people sort of listen to me. At the beginning of the season, I would like to see a line of Bolduc, Kapanen, Demidov, but we never had the chance to see this line. Right? Well, I don't know. I don't mind that, given a line of Slav, Kapanen, and Demidov looking damn promising. But yeah, I thought they might give that line a look. But don't forget, too, that would have been putting three players together with, what, 100 games of NHL experience between them? Right? Going into the year? I don't know if that would have been wise, right? Slav's in his fourth year now, so at least there's a guy with 4 years of experience on the line. And that would have been just too, especially if you're playing them against other teams' top, in a second line role against other teams' top two lines. Three guys with that little NHL experience, I can understand why they didn't go that route. You just can't pay Demidov more than Hudson. Oh, sure you can, because it's a couple years after. Habs are often front-loading contracts with signing bonuses, which have allowed signing players for less money. Only rich teams can do this. Yeah. Thing is, there HabsCast, who hasn't changed his name yet. Hudson took less than Hudson took a discount. Hudson doesn't care if players are. What he cares about is winning. He doesn't care if anybody else is going to be making more money than him. It's just not in his DNA. It's not like he can do anything about it either. First of all, he won't pout. Second of all, he's buddies with Demidov. Third, he's a smart kid, and he knows that the freaking cap's going up substantially over the next couple of years. He knows that he took a bit of a cut there, so I don't see it being an issue. Habs are often front loading. Yeah, sorry. 10.5 because it would be the highest paid player with Price. There you go. Not to compare to them at all, but how do you like Fowler's puck control? I don't know. I honestly haven't spent a lot of time watching Fowler's puck control. I think it's adequate. Will Demidov get a sniff the first line this season, or is it too soon to put him there? Get a sniff. Well, it's, again, you like balance, right? Who's the puck? Who's the big guy on that line if you got Demidov with Cole with Caulfield and Suzuki? He's on a line that could be considered the first line right now, playing well. They have got chemistry. So, American player got a rebate on taxes also when they go back, something like that. Yeah, that's right. Lots of contracts, quite front-loaded. If it was not, he might have 9.5 to 10. Right. Yeah, Molson's got the money. Friggin' Bell Center, biggest arena in the league. Yeah, that's for sure. All right, folks. Well, I'm going to be back on here after the game tonight. I don't know if I'll be in the dungeon. I might be upstairs. But either way, I will do a post game. Let's see if the Canadians can win 2 in a row at home against Minnesota, breaking a streak there where they couldn't beat them if their life depended on it. It's it should be an exciting game. Hopefully, good Dobie comes out. I think he's due. It's usually average game, good game, average with Dobie. So he's good game. Dobie's due. Hopefully, we see that tonight. Hopefully, Gooley's rounding into shape here. Hopefully, Dach looks okay playing on that top line. Well, it would be nice if he popped one tonight, or at least got a helper. I think he helps that second power play unit. Wouldn't it be cool if they actually got a goal on the second power play unit? That would be cool too. And yes, I will be back after a Habs victory tonight. And I'll have my Molson Canadian ready to pop. Go Habs, go. Thanks for tuning in. As always, folks, we'll see you after the game tonight, hopefully. I'll get on within 5 minutes if I can. And we'll celebrate together. Okay, thanks for tuning in.